Welcome everybody, François Letarte, JDR D30, and making some kind of a video response, not exactly that, because it has been responded many times in the last month. It was about fudging the dice. I know that we've heard all about it, all around the table. We have many opinions, many good videos came out about it. I did want to brought something here. How do I view it, and also maybe bring something up that I think hasn't been brought up that much into the debate about fudging dice or taking the dice as rolled and going with it. Well, first of all, my view of it, fudging. I can say that I have never fudged, and I can say that I will never be tempted to fudge again. But I have found techniques to not fudge. Basically, I like to take the dice as they are. I roll the dice, that's the result, and that's how it goes. Well, as a player, I never fudge. It's out of the question. As a game master, I'm more about to fudge situations than dice rolls, just to make the scene more interesting. I think it's more a way I like. I fudge less than I used to sometimes ago, but I can say that I never do it, but usually I don't do it. Not anymore. My personal tip, is to just roll less. Games like D&D 3rd edition and all the games after that came. There's too many dice rolls. We want to roll too much, and at some point it becomes too much, and at some point, it's hard to slip away from a fudge or two, because we are rolling for too much stuff. And my tip for it is to roll less. If you roll less, you will fudge less, and if you roll less, you will keep the dice rolls that are more meaningful. So you won't be, personally, I won't be less tempted to fudge them. I will let them roll because they are meaningful dice rolls and they add to the tension. So that's a personal tip about how I handle not fudging or avoiding fudging. But the thing I think that hasn't been brought up as often, I've heard about it in some videos, but not that much, is that it's more for those who never fudge and take the dice as rolled. There's something to consider here, is that sometimes game systems has flaws. Not sometimes. I think every role-playing game has flaws, has system flaws in them, and so it's like giving the fate of a die roll into a mechanism that was created by someone who don't play with you around the table. The game designers are not playing with you. The guy who created the game, when he created it and created a mechanic for a certain situation, maybe in his head and with his playtest group it makes all sense. But when the game comes at your table, maybe it will be totally ridiculous. So if a game has a flaw in it, a flaw for your gaming group, or simply a flaw because it just doesn't work, sometimes you come in front of that situation, you roll the dice, and you realize that it's totally ridiculous. So maybe there's a situation where you can be tempted to fudge the dice because you just want to overcome something that just don't make sense. In games, games that have a rule system that don't make sense. I have a book at home that is called Murphy's Rule, which is a bunch of comic strips that came out in Dragon magazine and magazines like that, and every comic strips depicts a ridiculous rules that you can find in a game. So that's the proof that they exist. So sometimes, in my opinion, maybe fudging dice may happen if you see that you roll the dice, but the outcome is just doesn't make sense at all, just doesn't stand the road. So yeah, maybe that's something to consider. That's where house ruling may come. That's where you discuss with your player about the rule, adjust it, or just remove it, but just have an agreement with your players. And from that point, well, maybe be more fair with the dice rolls if dice rolls are to be involved. But that was the point I wanted to bring up, is that sometimes you need to fudge because the rules won't just make it. But I think it's not a situation you have to stand for long. You have to house rule it as soon as you know it, as you feel that it's not right. But maybe it's just a matter of interpretation. My recent experience with Metamorphosis Alpha has helped me to learn that rules, maybe you learn a rule, maybe it just doesn't make sense at all, but it's just a matter of interpretation. It's a matter of when you have to use it. And yeah, because you sometimes we have our old habits, and that's where in another game system or in an old school game system you realize that it doesn't work with the way you were used to it, another system, and that's where you can fudge stuff. I don't know, I'm just rambling right now, but my point is, system has flaws, and maybe you have to fudge. So yeah, I don't want to give all the fate of my gaming group in the hand of a game designer that just came up with a rule that doesn't fit the style of the group and the style of GMing I want, or stuff like that. So in conclusion, well, I like the dice as rolled, but by rolling less, it's more organic. It makes the dice rolls more meaningful, and as a GM, I may have all the liberty to maybe fudge situation instead of dice roll, just to adjust what the adventure needs at that point. It's not about saving the characters, it's just about having a story that makes sense, and that the players will feel more involved, even if it means that they will die. So that was my kind of video response. So if you like it, and feel free to comment and ask questions, and then see you next time. François Letard, JDR D30. I hope you have as much fun in your life as in your game. Bye.